Hello and welcome to The Critique. We analyze listener-submitted work to provide high-level constructive feedback to help maximize impact. Today we're looking at a transcript from a creator, Nuxanor. It's a reaction video to speeches by Marco Rubio, Hillary Clinton, and others using a lot of internet slang.
It certainly does. A very high-octane submission.
It was. So let's jump right in. The first thing that stood out to me was a tonal dissonance.
Oh, absolutely.
The creator's language, it just completely undermines the, civilizational arguments he's trying to make.
This is the central friction point for me. I mean, he's positioning himself as a defender of high culture.
Right. Dante, Shakespeare, Da Vinci.
He's praising Rubio for talking about the Sistine Chapel and biblical values, but then his own commentary is, it's just drenched in this low-culture vernacular.
Things like cooked, glazing, retarded.
Diabolical, cuckery. It creates such a jarring disconnect.
It feels like a self-inflicted wound. You're praising the dignity of high art, but you're speaking the language of a chaotic Twitch chat.
And that's the weakness, isn't it? It just damages his credibility if the argument is that Western civilization is superior because it creates order and beauty.
Then using this disposable, chaotic slang kind of proves the opposite point about yourself.
Exactly. You can't defend the sacred inheritance of the West with language that's, intentionally degrading. It just doesn't work.
It really doesn't.
When Rubio is talking about God's supremacy and then creator pivots to big kisses, stay weird, it takes all the air out of the room.
So the suggestion here, the actionable thing, is to elevate the language.
Yes.
Specifically when you're making those high points. You have to match the tone of what you're praising.
Right. Code switch. You don't have to lose your personality, but when it counts, you have to sound like you belong in the conversation.
So, for example, instead of just saying Rubio is based or cooking,
you could use terms like commanding or resonant or maybe philosophically grounded. It's a small change.
But it makes a huge difference.
It really does. Or look at how he talks about European ally.
Pussy whipped?
Yeah, and cocked. I mean, it gets the disdain across, sure, but it sounds like an edgy teenager.
Not a serious analyst.
A stronger way to put it would be something like, they're strategically paralyzed.
Or lacking sovereign will.
Exactly. That still has that aggressive stance. You're still calling them weak, but it does it in a way that sounds like you should be at the Munich Security Conference, not just watching a stream of it.
It aligns you with the civilization you claim to be defending.
Precisely.
And speaking of heckling, that kind of brings us to the second point.
The pacing.
Oh, the pacing was a big one for me.
The frequency of the interruptions. It fragments the whole narrative. You can't even grasp what he's rebutting.
Yeah, especially during the clips of Sarah McBride and Hillary Clinton. He pauses the video, every few seconds?
It's this constant stop-start for a quick jab, an insult, or, the repeated penis remarks in the McBride section. And the weakness there is that the opposing argument never gets established.
And so the takedown feels completely unearned. It's not analysis, it's just shouting over someone.
Right. It implies you're afraid of what they might say if you let them finish a sentence.
Which is not a position of strength.
Not at all. You have to show the confidence that their argument is weak enough to be heard in full and still be refuted.
So the suggestion is just let the clips breathe.
Let them play out. Let a full thought or a paragraph finish before you pause and dismantle it.
So with the Sarah McBride clip,
instead of just jumping in to mock her identity mid-sentence, let her finish the whole point about organized efforts and licensing discrimination.
Let the idea form.
Yes, men pause and you can deconstruct the entire premise. Your rebuttal becomes intellectual, not just, noise.
And the same thing for the Hillary Clinton clip. He's just shouting lies, lies over her.
It's frantic. A much better way would be to let her full segment on humane borders play out.
Let her make her case.
Let her dig her own grave with her words, and then you come in with the data. He actually has the data. He mentions the deportation numbers under Obama and Clinton.
Right. That's a strong point.
It's a very strong point, but it loses all its punch because it's delivered in this staccato of interruptions.
Which actually leads us perfectly into the third critique.
The ad hominem stuff?
Yeah, strengthening the logical pivot over the personal insults, the reliance on shock value. It just obscures the much stronger, data-driven points he's making.
This is a classic forest for the trees problem. He clearly has some good points, like he understands the Overton window, he has the stats,
But he leads with the insult, calling people orcs or sub-retards.
Or mocking Hillary's appearance. And by doing that, you give any skeptic an easy out. They can just dismiss the whole thing as hate speech without ever hearing your actual point.
You bury your own lead.
You do. You're prioritizing the quick laugh over the actual win. So the suggestion is simple: flip the structure.
Lead with the data.
Lead with the policy contradiction or the factual error. Then you can use the insult or the humor as a punctuation mark at the end, not as the main event.
Let's take the UN tweet example.
Okay, perfect example. He eventually gets to the community note about the child marriage stats in Niger and Chad.
Which is a devastating point. It completely destroys the UN's credibility on that post.
Totally. But it comes after this long preamble of just general mockery. The fix is to lead with that data. Open the segment with the community note, show the stat.
Destroy their credibility first.
Exact. And once you've proven they're being dishonest, then your jokes about white guilt will land so much harder.
The joke becomes the reward for paying attention to the data.
Right. Same for Hillary on deportation. The core point, the diabolical twist he promises, is the hypocrisy.
That she's now for policies she used to call racist.
Yes, so focus on that timeline. Make the hypocrisy the main event, not the comments about her eating bananas or what she looks like. That's all just noise compared to the signal of the political flip-flop.
Right, so that brings us to the final area, audience.
Who is this for?
Specifically, the heavy use of in-group signaling, the gaming terms, the memes. It limits the reach.
And I have to ask, what's the goal? Is it to convince new people or just to entertain the base you already have?
Because if it's the former, then you have a problem.
A big one. Terms like ratio, NPCs, skill issue, nerfing, they create a massive barrier to entry.
So someone might agree with the core politics. They might like Rubio.
But they'll be completely alienated by a reference to nerfing a political figure. They won't even know what it means.
So the suggestion isn't to get rid of the sling entirely, because that's part of the brand.
No, not at all. It's about bridging the gap. Use a universal analogy alongside the internet slang. Or just, briefly explain the meme so the political point can stand on its own.
So the orcs in the Shire analogy for migrants?
Yeah.
To a Lord of the Rings fan, that's a specific reference. To a general audience member, it just sounds dehumanizing.
This sounds like pure hatred, not a cultural critique.
Right, so if you want to keep that metaphor, you have to immediately tie it to the behavior you're criticizing.
Right.
Explain why the metaphor fits. Is it about lack of assimilation, hostility to the host culture? You have to connect those dots for people.
What about the meme, nature is healing? He uses that to describe Rubio's speech.
It's a great line for those in the know, but you need to explain why it feels like a return to order. Say something like, nature is healing because we're finally returning to a focus on the national interest.
Connect the meme to the political philosophy? Exactly. Then you're actually educating your audience, which makes the content stickier for everyone, not just the in-group.
Okay, we've covered a lot. I think we should probably recap the main points for our listener.
Good idea. So first, align your vocabulary with your values.
Right. If you're defending high culture, use language that commands respect. Don't say the Sistine Chapel is cooking.
Second, the pacing. Let the source clips breathe. Let your opponents finish their sentences so your rebuttal feels authoritative, not like a heckler's veto.
Third, prioritize logic over insults. Lead with the data, lead with the hypocrisy. Use the ad hominem as a garnish, not the main course.
And finally, translate your in-group slang. Bridge the gap for a broader audience. Don't assume everyone knows what nerfing means. Explain your memes so the political point is clear to everyone.
We really encourage you to try refining this. Maybe record a version where you force yourself to let the clips play just a bit longer.
Yeah, or swap out a few instances of based for something like principled or commanding. See how it feels. See if it changes the authority in your own voice.
And see if it changes the engagement. You might find you reach a new audience, one that's hungry for the steak, not just the Skittles you're pouring on top of it.
We'd love to see the next version. Please feel free to submit it back to us.
Absolute. That's all for this critique. Good luck with the edits.